Mike is also the founder of the Article 3 Project, an advocacy group that pushes for the nomination of conservative judges. Please join me in welcoming Mike Davis. You've heard him before. He's been on the show before, to the Judge Jeanine Tunnel to Towers Foundation show. Good morning, Mike. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me on, Judge.
Okay, let's hit it. Speaking of judges, I'm very frustrated with a couple of things this week. Two judges in particular I'd like to talk with you about. Number one is this Judge Juan Merchan. Judge Juan Merchan apparently is an individual who has been selected to sit on Donald Trump's trial in New York. And he's also sat on the Weisselberg case, the Bannon case, Steve Bannon case, and now the Trump case. Now, statistically, this is almost impossible because judges are picked based upon the roll of the wheel. How do you get the same judge for all three people connected to Donald Trump, and that judge is a Trump hater?
Yeah, that's a good question, Judge. This is a Democrat Manhattan judge who donated to President Biden's 2020 campaign. He donated to another anti-Trump cause in 2020. And, you know, he just seems to be the Forrest Gump of this Democrat lawfare and election interference. He just keeps showing up at all these key places at these, key criminal cases at these key times. His daughter, Judge Merchan's.
Yeah, I was going to go to her. Yeah.
Yeah, the adult daughter, that people say that President Trump's like threatening this adult daughter's life simply by raising evidence. President Trump simply raising evidence that this adult daughter, not a 5-year-old, as Julie Kelly is pointing out, is a Democrat political consultant who, according to the New York Post, is making money fundraising off of these criminal trials against President Trump, this Democrat election interference and lawfare, including her own father's criminal trial against President Trump that starts a week from this Monday. And so
all right.
President Trump,
go ahead. Sorry, Mike, finish.
I was going to say, so President Trump correctly raised this evidence in a motion to recuse this judge. He refused. And so President Trump raised it again on his Truth Social account, and these Democrats are going hysterical, saying that President Trump is essentially trying to harm Judge Merchan and his daughter for simply raising this evidence of judicial bias.
Well, first of all, let me say that the fact that the judge's daughter is raising money, and I understand, Mike Davis, that this Judge Juan Merchan's daughter, Merchan, her name is Lauren, that, you know, she apparently has raised $93 million for Joe, Kamala, and Schumer in New York. Now, you and I both know that when you raise money for candidates, when you are a fundraiser, you get a percentage of that. I don't know if it's 10%, 15%, whatever the deal is. So she's making huge amounts of money. And then her father is sitting on the case and has inexplicably gotten every anti-Trump case, not just against Trump, but against Steve Bannon and Saul Weisselberg, who was I believe he was the chief financial officer. So you've got all of these assets are being collected by Merchan's daughters. And then what we have is we have another judge who did something that, Mike Davis, I got to tell you, I have never seen in my life. And I've been a judge. I've been on the bench. This guy, U.S. District Judge, a federal judge, Reggie Walton, who comes out against former President Trump on CNN. First of all, you can't get a federal judge to speak on anything in the press, but then to go on television and trash Donald Trump is stunning to me. So you've done something about it. What have you done?
Well, the Article 3 Project, the group I run, has filed a judicial misconduct complaint with the Judicial Council of the D.C. Circuit. That is the circuit that's responsible for the D.C. federal court on which Judge Reggie Walton sits. And as you said, Judge, this is highly inappropriate. It's unethical. It is highly prejudicial to any criminal defendant for a federal judge to think it's his job to moonlight on CNN as a commentator about a criminal defendant going through the criminal process as we speak. So this Judge Reggie Walton goes on Caitlin Collins' show on CNN, and he's criticizing President Trump. Judge Walton is essentially saying because Trump is raising this evidence of judicial bias by Judge Juan Merchan, this New York judge who's presiding over Trump's criminal trial in less than 2 weeks, Trump is essentially lodging violent threats against the judge and his daughter. That is absolutely insane, and it's highly inappropriate for any judge to do this, let alone a federal judge.
Well, look, nobody can reasonably conclude because Donald Trump, a defendant in this case, is complaining that the federal judge on his case is number one, anti-Trump, number two, that his daughter is so anti-Trump that they're making a fortune off of this anti-Trump hatred, and then for this federal judge to go on CNN, it's just, I don't know, Mike, how I can impress upon our listeners enough that judges do not speak, let alone go on and speak about another case and another defendant. But if you hate Donald Trump enough, all of a sudden they're willing to compromise, but they're not compromising anything because it's accepted. And your ethics complaint, what do you think's going to happen? Who decides it, Michael Davis?
Well, this is sent to the D.C. Circuit. The chief judge of the D.C. Circuit is an Obama appointee. But I'll tell you this, this is so much bigger than President Trump or one election cycle. This is so dangerous that federal judges think that they can come and weigh in on a nationally televised show with 500,000 viewers that night, and then another several million views with follow-up coverage, including on social media. This hit by Judge Reggie Walton has gotten, several million views where this federal judge is tainting these jury pools. And it's all four jury pools where these Democrats are running this lawfare and election interference. It's New York, it's D.C., it's Atlanta, it's in the Southern District of Florida. And this is highly prejudicial to Trump. It's not accurate what this judge is saying, that Trump is somehow a violent threat. Remember, President Trump didn't dox this judge. Mm-hmm. President Trump didn't hold home protest, organized home protest in front of these judges' homes. Remember, that's what the Democrats did to the Supreme Court justices while they were deciding the Dobbs case. This doxing and home protest sent the Supreme Court justices and their families to safe houses. It led to the 1 a.m. assassination attempt against Justice Kavanaugh, his wife Ashley, and their two teenage daughters. And what did the Biden administration, how did they respond? The Biden White House press secretary and the Biden Justice Department said that, it's not a violation of federal law. It's not a violation of 18 U.S.C. 1507, obstruction of justice, to threaten and intimidate judges. They said that this was protected by the First Amendment. It's not. You do not have a First Amendment right to protest someone inside of their home. There are time, place, and manner restrictions, and you certainly do not have a First Amendment right to protest federal or any judge inside their home while they're deciding a case. That is obstruction of justice.
And that is clear intimidation.
Yes, that's not what President Trump did here. So when Democrats do the doxing and home protest, they say it's protected by the First Amendment. When President Trump, as a criminal defendant, correctly raises evidence of judicial bias, they say Trump is a violent threat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It is amazing. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. But if your complaint is handled appropriately, then this judge should be sanctioned for, Every bone in his body had to be saying to him, this Reggie Walton, don't go in, don't go in, don't go on national television, don't compromise yourself, to get involved in a case and to take the side of another judge who's about to sit, by the way, on the case of Donald Trump. It's just unheard of. But you know what, Mike? There's so much that's unheard of. I don't know what to say anymore, other than I am hoping that your complaint to the chief judge of the D.C. Circuit gets some kind of response, and I give you a lot of credit for that. Now this trial starts. When is this trial with Merchan starting?
Starts April 15th, so a week from this Monday it starts. And remember, they're going after Trump for like a 34-count felony indictment for the non-felony of a businessman settling a nuisance claim. And they've taken what would be time-barred misdemeanor bookkeeping violations at best and transform them into these felony campaign finance violations of this novel theory. Remember, the prior Manhattan DA passed over this legal theory. The Manhattan U.S. Attorney passed over this legal theory. The Federal Election Commission, Alvin Bragg himself. It wasn't until Matthew Colangelo got sent from the Biden Justice Department that they brought these unprecedented charges against a former president and likely future president. This is election interference. This is lawfare.
Well, and you know, this Colangelo moved from the Department of Justice, and then he went to Letitia James and her lawsuit. Now he's working with Alvin Bragg and his lawsuit. I mean, if anybody, you know, you have to be naive to think that, the White House isn't involved. I mean, it's a sad state of affairs, but Americans are smarter than they give us credit for, and we will see. There's only one man who's going to change all of this, and that is Donald Trump. But listen, Michael Davis, I want to thank you for your ethics complaint and slapping that complaint on a federal judge after he went on a tirade against Donald Trump on a case that wasn't even his. It is a sad state of affairs. But Michael Davis, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate your time today.
Thank you, Judge.
All right.